Good afternoon, everyone. D here with 25K trading. We're just gonna let people filter in before we start here. What's up, Leo? What's up, Reza? So just give me a few more minutes to get set up here, guys, and I'll be on our way here. What's up, guys? Alcohol and cigarette sales are banned. So in John, I think in New York City, cigarettes are pretty much banned. And if you guys ever lived in New York City, Manhattan, that is specifically, you'll know that the tobacco tax on cigarettes is actually extremely high, and also on like cigarillos and cigars and all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, so I mean, I definitely don't believe it, John. I'm sorry, I believe that South Africa has locked it down. That's actually quite rational because I feel like people share cigarettes. Maybe I'm just luring too much to pot, but I'm sure people take drafts of each other's cigarettes, and that's why. And people don't want to go getting drunk all day in South Africa. So yeah, yeah. But if you want to buy cigarettes in Manhattan, I don't remember how much they were, but I think they were upwards of $20 per pack when I was in Manhattan. So I think during the coronavirus they've actually shut that down. And I think here in California they deem smoke shops non-essentials, and I don't think you can go to any smoke shops here in California. They had to close them. Can you guys hear me all right? I just want to make sure because people have sometimes issues with this microphone, but I think we should be good. So essentially, we're gonna dive deep in. So I'll just give you guys some information I read. So just starting off the bat, stuff I've already repeated inside of the chat. So we had oil go below $18. If you saw that, oil pretty much capitulated a couple bucks overnight. It fell pretty hard. So crude futures here, right? So you can kind of see that crude was fallen under $18. It hit the low of the day this morning around 1740, and has actually bounced 70 cents to the upside. But 70 cents to the upside is really not that much more than where it was now. It's the fact that we're under 20 and we're staying under 20. One pattern I do see right off the bat is this head and shoulders bottom. Again, this is on a 5-minute scale. I think this might pop it upwards and then it's just going to drop again. I don't really think oil is going to do anything until one or the other of two things happen. One, we have war. Two, is that we see bankruptcies. That's the only two things. So it's either war or bankruptcies, right? So if the simple equation for profit is revenue minus costs. When your cost per barrel is 50 and you're wholesaling it for 10, that's not a viable business. That's not even a business you want to go to give a loan for, right? So you have these struggling businesses like restaurants out there that can actually get back their revenue because they've been paused. But you essentially now have oil producers was it the Permian Basin is I think one of the cheapest places to produce. I think don't quote me on that. Um, that's around I think 30 to 40, right? So um, yeah, so I mean, like, this is not viable. Like, the only person that wins with oil at this amount is Saudi Arabia, but Saudi Arabia is not making money off it, right? They're not making any money if oil is trading at 14 bucks, right? They might be making a margin amount, right? But they're not making any money. And we have to rewind back to 2016, 2015, 2017, that period where we really had like really crazy oil where it hit 27, I think was the low or something like that, and then bounced back. And I remember back then they said Saudi Arabia had enough money because Saudi Arabia was very cash rich at that point. They had enough cash in their vaults to sustain around 30 bucks, 20 to 30 bucks for 4 years. And that 4 years is up. We're in 2020. The reason why they had to IPO Aramco is because they needed the cash, right? We all know this. Like, they needed the cash for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And obviously the company is full of holes. That's why they couldn't list in America, right? Because it's a pretty I would love to see their account. I mean, I hate accounting, but I would love to see like a CPA look at their accounting and say, what is this, right? What is this? But anyways, let's backtrack to the 2020. So they're running out of money. Saudi Arabia was running out of money, so they have two options. Everyone decreases production, prices go up, or they can literally kill the company, right? They can kill companies out there. For example, I'm sure there are multiple companies, just like what you said, Thomas, producing at 32. That's not, like, you can't be producing your cost is 32 and be selling at 15, 10. You have to be selling at 40. So the only way is the survival of the fittest. So in tech, the name of this theory kind of, I don't remember the name, but essentially when I was working in tech, we had this understanding that if you're not the first business out there, you have to be the best business out there. And when you're the best business out there, you have to conquer all business. You cannot let any other company come into your realm. You cannot coexist. Coexist may work, but in the end, it's just going to lead to issues, and one of the two or one of the three is going to come out to be the victor, right? That's how we are taught in tech. Be better and to take as much market share and acquire as many users as you possibly can, right? You just have to be bigger. Doesn't matter if you're turning a profit. It just means you have to be bigger than the next one, right? Let's go back to oil. Saudi Arabia is producing, let's say $9, right? $4 even. $4. Let's go to $4. Right? They have a really good advantage here. All they have to do is either wait it out and let the American companies crash, because the global output of oil is around 9 to 10 million barrels per day, and America by itself produces 11 million per day. So we actually produce more than the rest of the world. So in this case, their enemy is actually our companies, because our companies produce 11 million at a higher price. They have to come in here. It's not the Russians, and essentially wipe off the Canadian and the American gas companies that are either badly managed and over leveraged. Essentially, it's failure. You can't bail these guys out. So to me, oil at 18, 19, I don't know, 15, 14, 16, 18, all the way up to like $25, where the Trump pop happened, right? The Trump tweet, remember with the OPEC plus, right? None of that matters to me. I don't really care. In my opinion, that's all the same to me. Right? This is all the same to me. It doesn't, like, from this range from 30 to 18. Yes, 30 obviously just lets people live a little longer, lets the company live a little longer. But in my opinion, there's no range here, and that's why when OPEC Plus came out with one of the biggest cuts, oil dropped, because America's not in the deal. I think America, all they said was, 250K, whatever, I don't care, 250K. We'll decrease 250K. We'll take Mexico's, the 350 they're supposed to cut. We'll take 250 and like give them 150K to cut, and then we'll take the rest. But we're producing at 11 million barrels. And what happens, right? So since we're talking about oil, let's go to XLE. And we have a little bit of time here before the margin calls come in. So I've got 20 minutes. We'll go back to the equities afterwards. I could not believe when I saw that XLE, and if you guys know what the XLE is, it's the the ETF for energy companies. It's up 8% today. Why is it up 8%? Well, only technicals, right? It's a retracement. All this is a retracement, and there's nothing in it. They're just cycling. Remember what I was essentially complaining about yesterday? It's because they're fighting. Like this is like a dog fight between the bears and the bulls, right? But the bulls got more people on their side, right? They got the Fed on their side, and they're also cheap shot, right? They're going for the eyes, for the groin, right? They're going for the cheap shot, so they're cycling, right? They're cycling. Every week is something different. Every day is something popping that doesn't need to pop. Oil pops, Boeing pops, Amazon pops, right? They make sense in a in a technical kind of trading way, right? I can see why it popped. It break out a flag, or it's coming from a retracement. But every day they're making one pop to an extreme, and then essentially that extreme brings up the whole market. You can tell today that QQQ is down because of simply just Amazon hitting a high yesterday, and I'm calling the top on Amazon 2,450-ish area, right? I said that yesterday. That's the top. That's going to be the top for the while, and I'll go into that a little bit more when I go into QQQ. But just for a price thing from here, XLE, right? XLE is in this bear flag. It's a simple bear flag, right? We need to see a W here in XLE, right? Independent of oil, I think XLE has the danger of going very low, like even to the teens, like something that we saw with gold miners back in the day, where gold miners were very high valuated, and then the price of gold came down and essentially crushed them, and they're still trying to climb back to their previous highs, right? Same thing here with XLE, except for XLE is going to go even lower. I think XLE can even easily go lower than that previous bottom, and go lower than that. And look at that. I even have some stuff back in the day charted here. So I can totally see this going lower. And I think the only reason why it's bounced, it's a short cover, it's a short buy, mainly so XLE can come back to this, pop off this, and go down. So it's just a typical breakdown, right? So if I'm, although I'm not the best of all technical analysts, but I know how to buy and sell. Well, when I say that, I know I'm not a computer. That's what I mean. I'm not a computer. So usually when you see this kind of formation, you'll see the break point down, and then it goes up and it goes back down. Now, a true technical analyst will not short anywhere on this flag. They would actually short right here. And this is what it's taught to us. They would actually short the arrow's fucking garbage. I'm drawing it right here on the retracement, right? They don't short on the breakdown. The breakdown's confirmation, right? In order to not get bearable trapped, you short on that retracement up, right? So that's my little thing of XLE. Why is oil below 18? XLE popped 8% today. Technicals. It just needed a relief rally before a little retracement to the try to retrace at least before it goes high. So let's go back to QQQ. Let's go SPY real quick. So, the overnight news of SPY. Let me get rid of these lines. Go to right. So we've had a pop from the lows for SPY, right? So in the last 30 minutes or so, but we're still in this weird looking channel where a lot of holes everywhere. It's not, a lot of things are disconnected. It's like we either gap up or gap down, and then we just kind of right? So essentially the whole week we've only popped what, just a little bit for QQQ since the close of last week. We really didn't make a significant new high here. And the reason why SPY, Dow, IWM, and essentially all the majors popped overnight was because of two things. I don't know. It was the one drug that came out. The drug that came out, I don't even want to bother to pronounce it, but they supposedly found a cure for coronavirus, and Gilead. And I'm trying to recollect my thoughts here. And this drug I have been following since January, because Redesivir. Okay, there we go. I've been following since January. Why? Because the Chinese knew about it in January, and me being Chinese, I knew this shit was going down, and they actually cloned the copy of the drug and were trying to patent this themselves. And so there was a leak by the, I think, Chicago University, where they did trial runs, 125 trial runs. 123 of the 125 severe patients were able to successfully be sent home. 2 of the 125 patients died. There was no control group. There was nothing about the dosage or anything like that. It was just essentially a leaked transcript by someone that was directing. It's just a treatment. That is correct. It's not a cure. It's only a treatment. So it's not preventative. It's just a kind of like it's something that might mitigate the adverse effects, right? And it's not proven. Right? We have 125 patients. 2 of them died, right? We don't know if they're being treated through when they're already on the respirator or prior to the respirator. We don't know a lot of the different, the nuances of the actual test, right? And in my opinion, that is such old news. This is January news. I think that we've been always, I think, as the traders, maybe 2 months ahead of everything. So just last month or late last month and this month, Trump was talking about person-to-person transmission. It's like people start learning that it was person-to-person transmission. I feel like there's a lot of things that are happening in other countries Americans aren't aware, and they're only broadcasting these, fundamental news pops based on essentially old news. It essentially comes up more like, it feels like fake news when you kind of like look at it, right? Like, so old drug, it's already been tested in overseas markets, in overseas countries, I'm sorry, and right now it's in the trial phases. We don't know if it really works or not, and it's like hydrochloroquine. It's like the same kind of issue that, it's just a pump. In the end, it's just a pump, and you see how the Nasdaq faded. Well, SPY is up here today, right? SPY, we're still trending a little higher here today in SPY. But what we'll see here in the next 13 minutes, we've kind of made the motions to sell off in the first 30, right? And then we have the afternoon it mellows out, it peaks, and then the afternoon it drops. Now we're in the last hour where everyone is prepared for power hour. So there are 2 things that can happen here, right? There are longs that can either sell and believe this is top, or shorts essentially just say, I don't want to see the weekend, right? And I think this might go down. And like the last few days, I did not think that it was going to do anything really. It was probably going to go up more than or sideways. But I think we're to have a big sell here at the close. It all depends on if this floats up. So in the next 12 minutes, we should get a better idea of where the price is going as we get closer to 330. But I just want to see how this, again, this is the margin call. I want to see how this closes. The volume has died down today, and I mean, this is just the SPY, but for QQQ, we have some very weird formations. Like for QQQ, right? QQQ essentially pretty like flat for the day. If you look at the daily, you see this island. So this is what I want to point out. This island, right? It's like a wedge that's an island. This is not a bullish formation. It's a very bearish formation. Formation actually. But just if this was connected, but by the fact that there's a gap here and the next 3 candles have not created any gaps to the upside or any gaps to the downside, makes this an island. There's nothing surrounding it. So the price is either going to move very fast to the upside or very fast to the downside. I can almost guarantee you, if it does move to the downside, we'll hop over the gap, right? There should be a day we might open at 204 QQQ, right? We hop over that gap, and then maybe we fill it to the upside, intraday, right? But there's resistance around this area from 213 to 220. So if it decides to go up, 220 is probably your next sell point where the longs, right? 213 to 220 if it goes up. But I'm saying here right now that I really do believe that this is the end of essentially wave to the retracement wave. Fox News came from Wuhan lab. They also US. See, that's this kind of shit I'm reading, like this crazy, conspiracy stuff. Like, Okay, so what? Okay, so it's okay. I'm like at 95% sure it came from China, like 96% sure. Like it's almost like the 4% is only because I like looking at conspiracy theories, right? It could have came fucking from anywhere. Who knows at this point? But I'm 96% sure. I'm pretty much near confident that it came from China. The fact that this was like a biological weapon or it came from Wuhan, I don't think is credible. The fact that this came from a bat, just like all the other viruses have came from animals, I find that to be more credible, right? So I mean, it's again, this is news is driving a lot of things these days. I don't know if it's good or bad. Obviously Donald Trump is a master of news. You saw him today tweet some crazy fucking shit. The tweets this morning were what was it? It was like let me get a screenshot of his tweets if you guys didn't see his tweets this morning. I have it on my desktop actually. So this is what he tweeted today. And I honestly like when people say, people are scared or uncertain, I'm uncertain what the effects of this tweets is. Right? I'm like very uncertain. Like, what is it supposed to be letting us do? Right? Like, are we supposed to be riding like under these? Like this is like contradicting to science. It doesn't matter if your density is not dense or if you have this many people. It's just math. Replication of the virus is a mathematical question. And I honestly don't think a lot of people get that. It's not like, oh, if I'll be safe, I won't get it. People don't get the virus can live on surfaces for up to 3 weeks, and you can transmit it up to 20 feet by talking to someone. Like, damn, like that's fucking horrible. That's why 6 feet distance, mask on, right? That's why New York City still has positive results. It's because it's not done. If the stay-at-home order really worked, people would stay home. But like it's not. I mean, like it's plateauing it, it's flattening the curve, but we're just making it into a plateau, right? So I don't know what the effects of these tweets are, but this guy has a lot of power behind him to influence. So I don't know. Take it for what it, and then he's going off about Cuomo, about how he's like begging for ventilators or whatever the fuck. Honestly, I don't even care. Honestly, like I've gotten, me, I was a huge Trump fan because of trading, but just because we're at the election year, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I wouldn't mind if he was no longer our president, but I will miss the stock gains probably if I say that. So. So I'm not saying I don't dislike him or I hate him. I'm just saying like he's acting a little stupid right now. He's acting a little mad. Exactly, you're right, John. A little mad. And honestly, I would be going if I'm going mad right now, I can only imagine him going mad, and that's probably fucking 20 times as terrible, right? So I'm gonna leave the 15-minute on. We're about to enter 12:30 here. I'm gonna flip it to the 5 so we can see the changes a little bit better. But essentially, it popped in the last 5 minutes. Getting closer to 12:30. We'll see whether or not this guy wants to end flat here or not. But this is something I saw today. Essentially was everyone's buying the crappy stocks. The crappy stuff everyone's buying. So.
Oh man, how you doing?
What's up, man? I'm doing well. How are you, Leo?
Yeah, so.
So. Well, yeah.
So.
So I think we're all here attempting to get this bear market to move down. I just this up move right now in QQQ. Well, the QQQ is making sense to me, right? We had a big day in Amazon, so that's why I brought it up. But QQQ is obviously not taking this shit from the cure. Dow could be pushed up by Boeing. Who knows? It's just like it's just a barrage of news at us to try to keep the markets floating. And I honestly think there's going to be like a Black Monday or pretty much Black anything of the week. Black Tuesday, Black Wednesday, Black Thursday, Black Friday. Doesn't matter at this point. Right now, I think there's going to be a huge movie just taken out. It's just going to be surprising, right? Just like 08, 09, everything's all right. Everything's all peachy, and bam, you drop it on your face. It's like, oh, we solved it, right? We solved it. The stimulus solved everything, right? So this leads to my next chart. The crazy fucking chart. I'm gonna call this the crazy fucking chart, right? So you guys know me as a guy who came back after a few years and decided to do this because I believed in 6K Nasdaq. Right, I was going 6K Nasdaq, 6K Nasdaq pretty much for the last 2 months. Well, I look pretty stupid now that it's bounced back to 213 to 9K Nasdaq pretty much. So here's my next one. You guys see this? Here's my next prediction. We go even lower now. And why is this? It's simply I believe the market meddling won't work in the end. I think the true fundamentals, I hate to say this, but fundamentals will eventually play out, and then the fundamentals will match this technical, right? I do not believe that this will rise back up. The technical damage is already done. Look at the spike in volume in QQQ, right? This is technical damage done to QQQ. You cannot just go back up and make new highs. I don't think that's possible. I personally don't think that's possible. I think we go even lower, right? When they said, oh, how can we have 10K Nasdaq when we have 30% unemployment? It won't happen, right? It's such a fucking far-fetched. And if it does happen, oh my god, I don't even know, dude. Like, then I just fear for America as a whole. Then I think if we have 9K Nasdaq or 10K Nasdaq and then we have 30% unemployment, I think I'm too busy barricading my house from looters at that point. I think the last thing on my mind would be about the stock market. But anyways, so this again has, for Elliott Wave has to match essentially the criteria. The criteria originally was this, that we were about to enter the 5th wave and this was the 4th wave. Well, this is more apparently to me that looks like more just of a 2 wave than of a 4 bounce wave. It just looks like we haven't even experienced 3 yet. If that makes sense. That we haven't even begun. Oh fuck, this shit is in the way. I'm sorry. Okay, so now you guys can see. I'm sorry about that. So QQQ is now just positive today, but I want to show you guys this. Because of how much 2 has retraced, there is not one point on the previous drop that we can say that was the 1 wave. This whole wave in March was the 1 wave. This whole wave is the 2 wave. There's no you cannot say, you cannot say, oh, this was 1 wave, this was 2 wave, this is 3 wave, this is 4 wave, right? 4 cannot be above 1. 4 has to be someone around here. So the only logical conclusion to me is that 3 wave hasn't even happened yet. And that's the scary part. 3 wave hasn't even happened yet. And I don't even know, right? 2 to 3 hasn't even happened yet. So I don't even know, like, when is it going to happen? That's the question, right? Everyone's been trying to hunt for this top, me included. I've been killed. I'm not gonna lie. I'm open to admit that I have not been doing that good in the last 2 weeks of trading. I have not. It's because I've been trying to catch the top. And I think that's exactly what the market has been pretty much killing. People like me. And I must admit, I'm a little rusty, but you gotta know where your limits are. And I've been every day stopped out. You get a nice position. Hey, I'm gonna bring it over to tomorrow. Next morning, just get stopped out. It's not fun. It's not fun doing that. And I completely understand why other people are getting increasingly frustrated on how the price action is. It's because it's making no sense to us as a human, but it's making every sense to an algorithm, if that makes sense. It doesn't make sense to us because we can't just think numbers unless we're really like that. Like, I don't care how much of a technical analyst you are, at one point you might just start thinking economy is bad, right? Economy is bad is not a factor in technical analysis, right? Analysis. So we're popping up here a little bit. We'll see how we close. 2 more minutes until the margin calls come in. So we'll see how the market reacts here, whether or not it wants to keep going up. Shorts get covered, or longs decide to sell out, or or once the rebalancing comes in, they all decide to sell. But I want to bring up some more interesting news too as well. Is that Warren Buffett? I forgot the VP of Berkshire Hathaway. Essentially was interviewed by the Wall Street Journal, and he's like, "How are things at your fund?" And the VP, again, I don't remember his name. He essentially was quoted to say something along the lines of that the rings. There you go, Thomas, you got him. He said the phone has not been ringing, right? So the prices are going up, but his biggest clients, and Goldman Sachs said this, a couple weeks ago. He says most of their clients are not buying, right? They're not buying. It's like people like us deciding to, day traders and swing traders picking up the garbage, right? It's us picking up the garbage, which is doing this, and then us getting squeezed, pushing it up. That's what's happening a lot. The squeeze for Amazon, if you thought Amazon was gonna go double, good for you. I personally saw it a couple of days ago, and I thought it could still go up, and it sure as well did go up, right? But if you're like a Main Street investor, how can you tell, right? So you can also see but you'll buy something like a garbage stock, like something that makes familiar with you. For example, MetLife, right? Or I don't know, like Boeing. Like those are stocks that everyone knows. Main Street knows that it's attractive when the price goes down. Anyways, we're floating up here towards the end of the day. Power hour, as it would say. We get another 5 minutes until. I'm sorry, it's 12:30 already, so we should be seeing some heavy movement here. But again, it's Friday. Options expire today. QQQ might not be moving a lot. SPY is probably not going to move a lot either. But I think it's going to be a sell action towards the close of the day. I don't think it's going to be essentially it's a high pop for the highs of the day. For example, here in SPY, I don't think we're going to make a high, but again, it can prove me wrong. We'll see what happens. Right? I think SPY can easily go up to 292, and I think it was there actually overnight. I think SPY almost. ES almost hit 3K, and Nasdaq almost hit 9K, if I'm not wrong, on the overnight futures. I gotta double check on that though. But we're going up here today. Just in the last 30 minutes or so, we popped a few points. Yeah, I think it's exactly that, Thomas. It's just once the market cracks, if it does crack, again, if it does crack, it's gonna fall real hard. We'll probably hit a 10% stop loss. We'll probably hit the second trigger. We'll probably hit the first trigger at 6, and the second trigger at 10 or something like that. I have no doubts that would happen. And here's again, I want to say this over and over again. If you think the market is going to fall, you don't have to short it. You can just wait, right? These are what the smart investors are doing. But me, I like to trade, so that's why I'm trading every day. But for you guys that may have to do things during the day or do other things, it might be better just to wait, right? I'm definitely not giving the long signal to say, buy this, hold for 8 years. Definitely not giving that signal. I'm definitely, I wasn't giving that last week, not giving it now, right? I think again, October, great time to buy. It doesn't matter if we can go all the way up or go all the way down. October, great. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty in October, especially if I see the ways things happening, right? I'm a fortune teller. Let me see your fortune. So my fortune that I'll predict is that the country is going to go shit in the next month. We're going to have this, a red versus democratic divide, and people are going to be itching to go outside because of personal freedom. It's a big issue, a big thing here in America. It's just something that we value here, and I don't believe should be violated. Me as a person, I don't believe it should be violated, but I think that people should be less ignorant and stop protesting in big groups, right? If you want to protest, at least do the 6 feet distance thing and acknowledge that the virus is dangerous instead of saying the virus is fake, blah, yada, 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 right? So in that case, I think the country's going to be very divided, and it's going to rip this market apart just like in 2016. 2016 was pretty bad of a year. I don't know if you guys traded with 2016, but like that was a horrible year to trade. Oh, when we're heading towards the highs of the day. Look at that. It's like the bears just, we give up. I mean, that's what it seems like every day, like for the last few days. It's just the only drop the bears have are in the first 1 hour or so. Wow. So this is a lot different from my expectations because I am long on VIX. So this is definitely not fun to watch. I'm long on VIX from 39 to 42. And so I'm just looking for a big payoff there. Like it can go from 39 to probably low 30s. And that would hurt me a lot. But I'm looking for like huge spike in one day. Maybe it'll never come because the market has been trained that way for it not to repeat. But we've had like 4 triggers, right? The last time it triggered, you know what? Hey, you know what? You know what I just thought of? The last time when the market bottomed, we hit a 5% stop limit. So the market dropped 5%, we hit a stop limit, and that was the bottom we had in March. We hit a 5% stop limit to the upside last night too. Do you guys know? I was looking at Russell 2000 futures, RUT, and I noticed that it hit the 5% when all that news pump came out and actually stopped trading for the night. So I don't know. Take it as you will. But again, remember the futures market was limited on a previous low, and it was also limited just last night during the the post market action. Only on the Russell though. I think the Dow definitely did not hit. The S&P 500 did not hit, and the Nasdaq did not hit. But I just want to point out that we're going to extremes, right? Extreme low, extreme high, all limited by the futures market. And I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back. Let me get something to drink real quick. Actually, I got my water right here. So we'll see what happens. I've seen some crazy stuff happening this last 30 minutes. So guys prepared for some crazy stuff. All right. So far, it seems very boring to me. It just looks like a little W. But I did not see this little floating up action in the last 20 minutes. I thought we would just stay around our opening minute. But we are at the opening minute pretty much here. Right? I'm just like, my mind is boggling over XLE. I just can't. It's so crazy to see XLE up 8%. I just don't know. And it's like the stay-at-home order opening up places. That's just gonna get people sick and just destroy us over time. I don't understand. Right? I don't understand. Yeah, right. So like XLE is just crazy. This is some crazy shit. This is definitely short covering or something. Right. So we end the week. So I just want to see the weekly how we end like this. Look at this. Big green bar. So, and we're to close around the lows of September, October last year. Remember, this is a jobs report that right here. This low here was the jobs report that that really good jobs report. And now we have no jobs and we're at the same point. Like, what the fuck? Well, who knows? Who cares? But let's go back to the 5. Oh my, I am tired, guys. I feel like trading in LA is very hard, guys. I feel like it's very hard compared to what I was doing before. Because at least Like if I'm waking up at 6, you know, if I'm waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning to like just observe the news and stuff like that, that's very hard to do. It makes me feel like a crackhead. Like, people wake up at 4 or 5 to go to work. Jesus. That's why the stock market opens at 9:30. Casually strolling at 9. Whatever. Let's do this shit. New York traffic sucks. Well, I'm gonna take a look at Amazon. Guarantee you this is all short covering. It's like who can cover the first, right? So and look, Amazon actually broke out.
Would you say next week we'll start the bear market
I don't know, man.
because of we have on Monday bunch of like earnings releases,
See, the thing is, banks got destroyed, right? Let's look at XLF,
Yeah.
right? So this was bank. The first week is always. What is this? This is my old XLF map. So yeah, so banks got destroyed. So since the beginning of this week, banks got heavily destroyed. XLF can essentially show it. So banks did not have a good earnings report, and banks, it's literally trading perfectly like this. Look, you can literally not trade this any perfectly for XLF. But to answer your question, I don't know. Like, I wish I knew. Otherwise, I wouldn't be stressing every day trying to find the top. And maybe I'm just trading it wrong, right? Or maybe I'm just fundamentally being ignorant to the fact that the Fed is really screwing up these prices. But anyways, here's XLF is trading in the perfect channel. So, anyways, back to SPY. I don't know. I really don't know. And SPY just made a new high. So I totally thought this would go like either sideways or down, but it looks like there's a lot of energy in this. Let's see if it violates the one wave count here. See? It just violated it. Right? This wave count is no longer valid. The price is above 1. Or at 1. Look at that. So this Elliott wave, that's why I recharted the Elliott wave on QQQ. Because I thought, there was a possibility of a SPY violating this wave. So this wave on SPY is no longer possible. This is no longer possible. It's probably going to end up even worse. Like, this is how it works.
But looking at SPX futures, like say that it's right on a 50-day moving average and it's making a pin bar shooting south.
Oh, I'm just saying my Elliott wave is not going to work. So I'm just saying the drop now, if it does drop, is even going to be even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what happens. 50
MA, like simple 50 MA SPX. It's saying things very and plus you have a big, which is double bottoming. Two clues connected. I think next week we're gonna start seeing some.
I mean, I just don't know what is their end goal here. If the end goal is to just drop again, is their end goal to have 30% unemployment when the stock market's hitting new highs? If that's the end goal of the Fed are fucking stupid. I can do their job then. Like, if the Federal Reserve is sitting there with the Board of Governors saying, hey, you know what, guys? Let's drive the stock market to new highs. And let's use a crazy amount of money to do it. Like something that we've never done before. And let's drive the price up.
Well, maybe they're just attracting money to the market, then drop it like a rock.
Again, I think they're just providing support, right? So in order for them to buy SPY, in order for the Fed to buy SPY, they must have the price to go lower. They're not going to buy SPY at 3K S&P 500. They're just simply not going to do that because it's fucking stupid. I don't think anyone like that's an investor or a big hedge fund. I'm sure if they're like doing hedge fund movements, but they're buying dips. They're not buying pumps. So if they pump the bottom, they're not going to buy into their own pump.
Yeah, they're not.
Right, you know what I mean? Right? If they pump the liquidity and pump the prices up that way, they're not going to go ahead and buy. Right? They only buy SPY when that price drops. That's why I think the third wave is going to be so heavy that essentially it's going to force the Fed to buy the SPY for the rest of our living lives. Right? There's only one chance for them to be forced to buy SPY, and once they buy SPY, they will never not buy SPY, if that makes sense. As soon as that one day they decide to buy the ETFs, it'll be an addiction for the Fed, right? At least for America, for Wall Street, they'll be like, "Oh, we have no fear. We can just invest. If it doesn't work out,
maybe. Listen, maybe the Fed is avoiding just that. That's why they're putting doing everything like the market stable.
Yeah, and they already blew their load, or already. Yeah, I totally agree with that too as well. I think they already exhausted a lot of the weapons.
Yeah, so I think they're avoiding to buy because they are well aware of that fact that if once they boast, that's it. It's like a truck.
Yeah. So if you look at their next market operations, I forgot what it was exactly, but if you're able to go look at it, I would highly suggest it. They're decreasing their market operations. Whatever operation they're currently on. I know the repos have not been as severe as it was last month, right? Or I'm sorry, we're in March. We're in April. Oh shit, middle of April, right? Yeah. So the repos haven't been severe. Oh my god, my VIX is probably getting crushed right now. I should look at it real quick. What's happening? But new highs here for the close of the day. Again, I don't know what this is gonna go down to. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know how far it's gonna go up. It could make new highs again. That would be just too preposterous of an idea for me. But it can. Like
listen, now that everyone is so like so obsessed with the fact that the stimulus going to bring earnings like easier. Impact on earnings is going to be less because rate and those stimulus shit, but it just isn't. The damage is too big to cover with $5 trillion and a couple of tools,
Yeah. And I want to go back on VIX. VIX right now is under 38. Right, it's going through backwardation. That means the front month is actually, the current month is actually higher than the next month. So VIX this month, let's say, is 38. Next month, VIX could be 34. So when the contract rolls over from 38 to 34, TVIX takes advantage of that. And TVIX is not a long hold. All I see is this weird bottoming of VIX from 38 to 42. From 38 to 42, the price essentially not going up, not going down. It has sporadic times where it pops and where it drops, right? But I've been observing, again, the last 2 weeks, something that has rarely occurred prior to last week. I think it happened only once in the last month or two. It's where you can see the price of VIX rising when the price of SPY of the S&P 500 is going up too as well. So you have this weird, breaking correlation that almost looks like, oh, we're in a bear market, and this rally essentially is volatility to the upside, right? So we do see, I do see that kind of action going on, and that's why I have been, buying a little bit of VIX at a time. The first time I bought was I think at 42, then 39. And then I bought again at 39. So I'm a little bit underwater here, but I'm looking at the bigger grand of schemes, right? If the market does want to collapse, and I'm tired of shorting Dow, then switching over to QQQ, and then switching over to SPY, right? I don't know which one they're gonna push up, so it kind of like confuses my analysis, right? If I was short on QQQ last week because I thought it wasn't a runner, well, this week it showed me that it was a runner, right? Today showed me that it wasn't a runner, and SPY is the runner here instead. So we have another 10 minutes here. And this honestly is the most boring market, whatever fun rebalancing there is. This is honestly the most boring I've seen. Because it's just a straight
Hey,
line.
Robert is back.
Yeah, it's just bullish. That's all it is. It's just like a straight line, a very bullish straight line. There's really no volatility here. And again, it's Friday's options, so maybe that's why they're trying to push it up. But I don't imagine a lot of Oh, there it is. There it is. Right before I talked. So let's sit back and observe real quick. So we got a little pop to the upside.
Holy fuck.
Fun time.
Fuck time, I guess.
Well, you don't know what's gonna happen. That's the problem.
It's fucked. That's funny.
Fuck
Dude,
Friday.
just looking at a chart of the VIX, it's like over the weekly. That I think is like 35 area. That's like where it gets like super interesting.
Do you see where that wick ends at for VIX?
Yeah.
Right. So let's go to VIX since this is the one I'm trading here. Right. That's a fucking horrible drop. But anyways. Yeah. VIX for me, it's like I know this dangers of VIX are coming, right? If it doesn't pop from here, it's just gonna drop like a rock, right? You'll know when it drops like a rock. But right now, for me, in my opinion, it's just been literally bottoming out for the last, right here, this little portion right here. That's bottoming out, right? In the previous parts, you see big wicks to downside, upside. It usually goes down only. We haven't. You know what? You know what would concern me right now? If actually we make a new low. I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. If we make a new low in VIX, it's gonna compare to what's the low here of 37.3. That's gonna concern me because then we're getting that lower low here. But I want to see VIX. See, this is what I'm talking about. We see SPY hit a new high, right? 3 days ago, SPY was definitely not at this high we currently are. But you see VIX, we're holding here. We're holding here, right? BlackRock on their earnings report, they're like, oh, we're selling as much VIX as possible. We're selling it to everyone, right? What do you think they're doing now? They're probably covering the positions and then hedging their long positions they bought from the bottom. So I don't know. I see that the 50-cent buyer came in last week too. That's my first key to go in. But I'm literally sitting here, VIX from this area. And essentially, I'm just looking at this wick. We buy this end of the wick and maybe we can, capitalize something on arbitrage here. Maybe there's a range here we can work on, right? So I'm looking for 40s to 60s. Again, there's a high chance of it never happening, right? But I'm saying that there's going to be one day where we might see a little black sheep kind of event, where it just stuff goes crazy. And I see that VIX is bouncing back a little bit, so let's go back to SPY here. So a big pop, and then it's slowly coming back down. I did not expect this. Not gonna lie, did not expect this.
Look at all the green candles.
I know it's because like I was watching this whole day go down. I was watching Amazon, drag down the market again, and then I'm like, oh, this fucking 3 o'clock ramp. It looks like a 3 o'clock just fucking ramp to the upside. Literally true to what it is, the margin call, right? Most margin calls are on short sellers. So.
Is it the last few minutes of the day on Friday? I want to get out here.
Get out where?
That's it. We don't know.
That's it. We're just gonna just sit in front of computers and TV more. So like, fuck. Like, I honestly think that's why the FOMO is so great. It's because anyone is in home, right? Essential workers are the shitty job, or essential workers are the ones working all day, and there's probably not the ones paying into 401ks. Everyone at home working is probably the people contributing 401ks. So. You just work and watch TV. I guarantee you none of you guys are doing work either.
Nope.
Yeah, just move the mouse a little bit. Go in Skype and just like move your mouse. Wake me up. Right.
Gotta get on a Zoom meeting, bro. Freaking Zoom.
Too bad I don't work. Who reports on Monday? I'm not sure who reports on Monday, but I'll check it over. I hope to do another little live stream this weekend because I have nothing else to do. So tomorrow or maybe Sunday I'll do it. I know I keep on saying this every week and I don't end up doing it, but I hope to see it. Waiting for tech support calls.
On Monday, the heaviest guys report IBM.
IBM.
Yeah,
My former boss,
IBM.
IBM.
Yeah, IBM is reporting on Monday, and Halliburton.
Yeah. So here's another reason why I left Denver and why I left IBM. It's because they promised me I would work with Watson, and I didn't end up working with Watson, so I just fucking rage quit. They're like, "Oh, you want to work with Watson? Come join us." I'm like, I joined, and then it's like, "This is Watson." I'm like, "This is Watson? This is shit. This is bad."
It just wants to play Watson on Jeopardy. It worked for 25 minutes a day. That's my guy right there.
Sure, and that's how you live life. That's how life is supposed to. That's how life is supposed to live. Right? You get the work at home job, and you just don't do shit, and you get paid for it. Like, I don't care how much you're getting paid for, whatever. Work at home, whatever. It's nice. We should be all doing this. This is why I also don't work in corporate life anymore, and this is why I like to do my own little thing. It's because I hate the office. I hate dressing up, unless it's in New York City, because they pay me a lot of money to go consult in New York City. That's the only caveat here. I'll do it. I'm a dirty little hoe for that money when it comes to working in New York City. Make it rain on me.
Dude, can you imagine what's gonna happen to the office market if everyone starts working from home?
Crazy. This is nuts.
That's what I find funny. Is like, oh my god, you can work from home. It's like it's 2020. How long has the internet been around? It's like they got this new thing. It's called video conferencing. Like, Skype. I don't know.
So guys, we've got another 3 minutes here. It looks like there's a little bit of sell here is coming in. Looks like there was a cover or buy or whatever. I think some people are buying here, getting a little more comfortable in the market. We always see this pop in the morning, or I'm sorry, in the afternoon. Sometimes it's a drop, but it's very similar to the last few days. 3 minutes here, 2 minutes here, guys. What if you spoofed your trade? Like, you just spoof it real quick, and that green comes up, and you're like, "Just kidding, sell," and then you actually sell at a higher price. That's like the things I imagine when I see this like big green candle come out and this next red candle come out. It's like literally someone going like, "Psych." You know what I mean?
Bro, I would love a job if there was a job to manipulate the market. I would love to have it like, big, massive red candle. Everyone is like, oh, buy, buy, buy. I said, no fucking way. Just drop it like a rock.
I mean, market maker is actually a position within a firm, so it's literally like a job title, market maker.
Yeah, yeah. I would go nuts if I'm making a market. Any kind of market. I don't care if it's a shit market or a crap market. Fish market doesn't.
Completely
I'm
erase that
gonna
little pop.
crack.
Here.
Dude, I have a God sensation. The earnings season is like going to be it's going to be ugly because now I think everyone thinks that easing policy and the interest rate shit done very good on stocks, on companies. It really did, and I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed and start like selling mass.
You sound very tired, Leo.
Bro, it's 1 a.m. with my time.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, GMT +5, man.
I thought my sleep schedule was screwed up lately. Good God.
Oh shit, that's there.
I much
I
rather
mean,
have
like
your I much rather have your time trading though. I feel like I'm
you
more
don't
alert
want
at night than in the morning.
you don't want to have it. Trust me, man. I thought I was happy too, man. It's ridiculous. You sleep like you don't when you don't have something to wake you up in the morning, right? And you sleep like until like 12 or 1 p.m. or something, like the whole day gone. and
That's it.
and then you're well, with one word, you're like a bat. You live at night.
Swifty.
So the market popped out. QQQ made an amazing recovery to its pretty much its closing, the first 5 minute bar. So markets did pull back. So again, this could just be weekend jitters, but we're now seeing this little curved top. It's actually, we're not getting that. We're not getting the big movements on the weekly chart as we are getting, right? Look at the weekly. It's not like last week. It's getting smaller and smaller. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe for not for Nasdaq. For definitely for SPY. But dude, we're already at 2020 highs. This is fucking ridiculous. In my opinion, this is ridiculous to me. Like, there's nothing that this doesn't even look like a bear flag. In my opinion, that's not even a bear flag anymore. It's just not.
I was looking at a lot of equities earlier, and it's like, oh, some of them are like pre-crash prices. It's crazy.
Big caps, large caps are pre crash prices, or close to pre crash prices. Like telecom, there's a lot of the essentials pretty much, or near high, or at its near highs. But anyways, so the market's performing very weird. I've seen a lot of people
Sorry,
call out short.
sorry, Eric. The problem is though, I guess, people are believing on Trump. I guess, no, don't you think so?
It's the Fed.
Trump's bluff.
I don't think it's Trump. It's the Fed.
Really,
Yeah,
really?
but
I
I don't.
thought I
Again,
thought
I
it
don't
was a
think the
Trump.
Fed's objective. I don't think when the Fed came in doing this, they would say, "Hey, let's make all-time highs." I don't think that was the objective. The objective was to protect the American economy. This is not protecting the American economy. This is a matter of fact probably tearing apart the American economy because it's giving a false sense of what the true economic picture is looking like. So if you're looking at the stock market shouldn't be a representation of the economy, but some people are going to look at the stock market and say, "Oh, we're near highs," and that gives them full confidence on doing whatever they want to do. Now, if we're trading at 50%, now if we're back at under 20k, Dow Jones, people would have a little bit of fearfulness to move on, move forward, keep working and stuff like that, especially the middle class. But now with this most recent pop here, it gives back more confidence, more optimism, right? But I'm too much of a pessimist. I don't believe it will work, right? I don't believe that just for the fundamental part, I believe that this drop here is very big technically, right? For the trade war, right? We popped and we just essentially moved all the way up, right? This was a slow descent down where we had multiple drops here that locked out the markets for the first 30 minutes of trading, right? That's crazy. You don't have like 5 market limit downs and then all of a sudden it to be ceasing and then it makes a V. That to me is just straight crazy nonsense. The craziest of all nonsense I've ever heard. That the market would ever have multiple limit stops and then after it goes to its low, those stops just happen. That we just magically got over this hump. And that can be explained only with one reason, the Fed. But the Fed is now decreasing their activity. That's the part I think that we have to observe. I've seen that market to GDP. You should also look at earnings to GDP as well, DMD animal. I'm sorry. So anyways, I completely forgot my train of thought. I completely
The
forgot my
V.
first thought. Oh, the V. That's why I don't think this V is sustainable, because we don't have we have like just bull to upside. This is like there's no bear left. Right here, we had a slow way down, slow way up. Right, that makes sense. V recovery, whatever. And it's also dropped previously in 2018. Right, in the beginning of 2018, we dropped. It's like V recovery, right? V recovered. Theoretically, this could be a V2, but this is not a V. From 2019 and 2018, that's the same issue. Phase 1, phase 2, right? What's phase 2 of the coronavirus, right? Where do we see this come up, right? I just don't know, and I don't know how bad it is going to get, in terms of just everything else. I honestly, right now, I like to say I'm pretty confident in my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I like to say I would like to be confident that we are going lower, even to the worst of all lows. So just because so many people say, oh, we're going to hit a double bottom, I'm going to go ahead and say, we're not just going to hit a double bottom. We're going to go below 2016 lows. That's a fucking big call to make, and I'm going to make that call now, right? I'm going to make that call now, and I'm going to say, there's a chance of that happening, and I'll trade that way. But I'm more than aware right now. I'm very aware I could be very, 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 extremely, incredibly wrong. I'm not stupid, but I'm looking at this like this is an investment. Investment I can either 6 months from now, but because I'm gonna participate too, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is, right? So
Especially if you look at the VIX weekly and you look on the MACD, it's like that gap is insane. Like it'll come down pretty hard
right,
if
the
once
VIX,
it goes to the high.
like you can probably apply like a Bollinger Bands to VIX, right? So like let me just apply some Bollinger Bands, because Bollinger Bands is just essentially standard deviations.
Yeah, like Daniel, just wait. Yeah, exactly. I mean, jeez.
Maybe not on the weekly. Right? So I never applied Bollinger Bands to this, but you can see we're at the lower of the band, right? This is when the band breaks. Okay, when the band breaks, that's the signal. It's not like if it's the low part of the band. When the band breaks, that's the signal. Right? We're getting pretty close to where the it should be breaking. So, but we're definitely on the lower part of the variance scale here. So, a revert to the mean, a reversion to the upside, I think is very possible. Right. Again, 3 days ago, we were actually higher. The low was actually lower, and the price of SPY now is higher. So I just want to throw out the observation. SPY has been trending up. VIX has not made a new low. So I see some maybe catalyst here, right? Some place to arbitrage. But essentially, this is gonna be the video for today. I'm gonna maybe do something tomorrow too. Just do a live stream. I'll put my face on, my beautiful face, so you can see me. But I just want everyone to say to have a great weekend, and everyone stay safe and stay at home. Don't do anything risky. We only have a few more weeks of this if we all do it right. But if you live in Michigan, Minnesota, or any of those states Trump's literally trying to get a revolt in, good luck. Everyone's probably getting infected in your states. I'm sorry. That's probably
Liberate the states.
That's probably avoid Michigan. Just avoid Michigan, right? If you like today's video, shoot me a like. If you are your first time here, throw me a subscribe. I usually try to do this every day around 3 p.m. Just to give everyone a market update of what's happening. If you follow me on StockTwits or on Twitter, you can see some of my trade ideas and signals that I post on there. But again, everyone have a great weekend, and most importantly of all, just stay safe and stay healthy.
Yeah, man.
Done for YouTube?